Welcome to Rooted Revival, where truth takes root and generational change begins. I'm Michelle Lynch, functional health practitioner, founder of Well House, and mother of 7. Here we expose the lies, reclaim what matters, and build what lasts. For you, your family, and the legacy you're called to carry. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome back. I am joined today by Clarissa and Sascha Walter, the incredible husband and wife duo behind Untammed, a company that's creating real food supplements the way that they should be made. Their story is absolutely fascinating, from how they met, what sparked their health awakening, the challenges of building a business while raising young kids, and why they're so passionate about supporting small businesses and real food. We also talk about education, community, and why transparency matters so much in the food industry. This is one of those conversations that really fires me up because it's about so much more than just health. It's about returning to what's real, building genuine community, and creating products with integrity. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's dive into this amazing conversation. Hello. I am here joined today by Clarissa and Sascha of the founders of Untamed. I'm so excited to have you here. What I wanted to dive into first was your story, how you guys got started. And I mean, I personally like to hear not just about how the product got started, but I'd like to know how you guys met.
Well, our first date was at a hockey game. We are the lucky, was it Tinder? No. What?
It was Tinder.
It was Tinder. Yeah, we met on Tinder. So not one of my proudest dating moments, but it has paid out to be very exciting for me in the long run because I was against online dating for probably since its inception. When I heard about it, I was like, I'm never going to do it. And I don't know, something just was like, maybe you're doing this wrong. Maybe you need to like filter through people in like a more strategic way. And I finally like decided to do it, and I found Sascha, and we swiped.
Yeah.
It's right or left, right?
Swiping right. Yeah.
Swiping right. It's been a while. And we went to a hockey game, and pretty much we're inseparable ever since. We got married. Within 9 months, we were engaged.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's 8 years ago now.
Wow. What year was that?
2016 when we met.
Okay.
2017, we got married.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And you guys have some little ones. Tell us about the little ones.
Oh, yes. So we have a toddler, Axel. He's 3. He'll be 4. And then we have our twins, Navy and Bodhi, and they'll be a year in like a month and a week. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys going to have more?
Oh.
Is it the twins? Was it the twins that like threw it over the edge?
Yeah.
I mean, for my husband, I for sure know it's no. So for me, I'm open to whatever God gives me. And if that is placed on my heart, I will do my best to advocate for it. But
So I feel like having twins with a toddler, it just adds like an extra layer of
intensity.
Yes. And I just feel like I'm not sure if we can handle more kids at the moment and give like enough like to the kids we have. Maybe I'm wrong, and more kids are better, but yeah, we're gonna wait to see what the future brings.
I think we're maxed out right now for sure.
Yeah.
I think any mother or family of little ones knows that first year is so intense of getting to know these new little humans and changing all of your family's rhythms and routines and what it looks like to like integrate new babies into your life. And we decided within the first year of having twins to also start a company. So we have really pushed ourselves to a max. And I think even thinking of another child for Sascha, I don't want to speak for you, but I think I think we've got our plates full.
Yeah, especially with just like, we lived in Texas before. We decided to move back to be closer to family, move back to California. And just a lot of change, the company and twins. For me, like 3 is a good number. Yeah.
I like even numbers, like symmetry.
Well, I think
Yeah, you're gonna say that now, and then it's gonna be twins again.
yeah, exactly. Well, and then God's telling you, you gotta get another one to get that even number. I always thought that too. I was like, well, if we go on a plane ride, I want everybody to have a buddy, or like, I want it to be even.
Yeah.
And Josh has always said no with each of like no more. So at 3, he was like, no more. And then we had another, and then he was like, no more. And then we had another. And so now he's like, now he doesn't even care. He's like, whatever. If we have more, it's great. I'm like, okay. So I think that's it'll break you once you get to like 6. You're like, okay, we'll just keep having them. It's fine. So that's all we want to do is like break Sasha. We'll keep getting Clarissa pregnant, and then eventually he'll
There
be
you
like,
go.
great. So, but
Exactly.
but you guys starting a business, they say that like all of these crazy life events, like buying a new house, like moving, buying a new house, like starting a business, having kids. You guys were doing a lot of that, within a number of years, right?
Within 1 year.
Yeah.
Within one year.
Yeah. So that's
It was
crazy.
last year and this year. I mean, I would say it was one of the like most complex and challenging times. Just like all the change and figuring things out with like a business, and it's always a learning curve. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I know this story, but our listeners don't. Tell us a little bit about how Untamed became what it is today. So I think that's really relevant, especially with talking about pregnancies and things like that. So tell us how it got.
Yeah. In preparing for like talking about like, oh, we're going to be doing this podcast, we were like, when did it really start? And it, like, for me, I think we really started on a health journey together when my mom was diagnosed with cancer. So when we found that out, we started changing a lot of our household products and a lot of things in our home. We were clean eaters, if you want to like put a label on like how we ate when about like eating. But we didn't think about seed oils back then. We didn't think a lot about like whether certain products were pasteurized or cage-free, or the different language and the different nuances of farming
It
practices.
was very superficial and just like on a macro level, we were like healthy and clean, but it was not like really understanding where your food is coming from, like what additives are in there. It was, yeah, like especially like I guess these two events, your mom's diagnosis and you getting pregnant with Axel. For us, that was kind of like okay, we turned just like into these crunchy parents, like reading every ingredient label, like listening to health podcasts, like reading like research papers, and yeah, that's basically how we just got to the point where we realized, okay, there's really no place to hide in the current like environment. Unfortunately, like since the Industrial Revolution, it's just everything has become so like commercialized, and it's very hard to find. Like we're like as society, we've really lost connection to what really food is. Where does it come from? And these two events, like they just like really woke us up. How the system, the agencies that are supposed to protect us, unfortunately, they're not working out in our interest anymore. They're like captured by big corporations, and this has created like one of the like worst chronic illness crisis in the U.S. And we're the richest country in the world, and at the same time the sickest. Like something is not adding up, and yeah, this is basically the reason why we decided to found this company, because it was just okay. There's supplement industry is very similar. It's just very hard to find good products where you can actually trust, especially real. There's not much real food like supplements out there, and yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, when I became pregnant with our first son, I wanted to approach it in a holistic way, and I thought that I had. But I was still, when I looked back, realizing like some of my prenatals were actually not as food-based as the label maybe appeared or made me think that it was. When I flipped it over and became more educated, I realized like, oh wow, the folate was, but there were some other ingredients in there that weren't. And so I think too, it's not just educating ourselves, but then feeling like, not, I don't like to use the word victims, but feeling like you got caught in like that weird dance between you thought something was as clean as it was, or it was presented to you, and then realizing after the fact that it wasn't, and you had been consuming it all this time thinking you were doing the best. And so for us, it's when we know better, we try to do better. And so when I became pregnant a second time, and then shortly after finding out that it wasn't just one baby, but it was two, that was a lot of like emotional pressure on me to do an even better job. Like, I knew that I could do this with one baby, but how am I going to sustain two, and myself, and have the energy to still do all of the things that my toddler needed of me, became a real challenge. I'm not one of those pregnant women who loves to eat. When I'm pregnant, I actually have more of an aversion to wanting to eat really big meals, or I've become more of a grazer. And it was really hard to be able to hit a lot of the nutrient density like meals, like these heavy meals. And I grew up on Flintstone vitamins, like probably most 90s kids. So like my mom just sent me to school with my Flintstone vitamin, and all growing up, she thought she was doing the best that she could, but she actually had it done better for her. So my grandma would go ahead and make them these egg yolk smoothies with like fruits, vegetables, milk, egg, and all of her kids would have to drink that before school. And so my mom would be like, oh, I used to have to drink these. And she would be like, this is so lucky you get these like awesome vitamins now. I didn't have these. And so for her, she felt like this is amazing. And then I'm coming to a place where I'm reading Real Food for Pregnancy by Lily Nichols. And like, how am I going to go ahead and like do this with real food this time, like the real way, and educating myself. And I just started, adding extra milk here, or doing cottage cheese in my pancakes, and just finding different ways to add a lot of nutrient dense ingredients into what I was already comfortable eating. And then I started making these like yolky drinks in the morning with egg yolk and my coffee and milk. And then it was like, okay, well, I had one, but now my midwife is telling me, you need to increase it. We're in the second trimester, we're in the third trimester. And I'm just like, how am I going to get more? And so I put them in my smoothies. And it's a mess. I mean, eggs are a mess when you're trying to like separate them, and then you've got all these egg whites. And we had seen, a lot of different colostrum products on the market, egg yolk drink beverage mixes on the market. And we just thought that this was something that we would want to make for our family, to keep in my routine and in my diet. That was just a lot easier than the cracking the egg every morning and doing that, and making it really easy for Sascha to make me my coffee. He can just do it like that for me. So we had this like little itch that like maybe we could do this. And Sascha, being who he is, he puts his head down, he figures it out, he does the research, he comes to me with these ideas, and he starts showing me things. And like, yeah, I think we really can do this. Like, let's go for it. And we pretty much sold our house. We moved to California, and we've been on this journey since.
That's amazing. And you guys, Untamed, the name, how did you get that?
Yeah. So at the time that we had our first son, I was reading a lot of homeschool books, and there was a book I think called Wild and Free. I'm going to get the author wrong. Ainsley something, starts with an A. But it was this book, Wild and Free, and it was just a lot of different things that I was listening to. There's a movement for allowing your children more freedom in play, and wild school, and a lot of these just different aspects of like living more wild, not being so tamed by this idea of what society or culture is telling you need to subscribe to, but living more grounded and rooted into the way that, God intended us to live here on earth. And it just felt like Untamed was a way of taking back maybe all of the different psychological, cultural restrictions or brainwashing or whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's so many different ways of saying what it is, but like we're all culturally and socially normalized to understand like, okay, this is how we operate in society, and it starts to feel so normal. And the further you get from a certain point in time, you don't realize it's not actually all that normal, that Flintstone vitamin is not this revolutionary thing, but it's actually far from natural. And we just wanted to get back to natural, back to a wild way of living, back to a little bit more rugged. And we added an extra M in there because it's just fun.
Yeah, I love it. So speaking of like just wild and how society does things a very particular way, we've been taught things a very particular way. What are some things like, do you guys, your oldest you said is like 3 or 4, right? Are you guys going to homeschool, or are you guys going to do like, what are you going to do for school? I'm just like so curious what other parents, because I'm in full agreement with what you're saying. And I feel like it's time, and I think the next generation is really going to be where things really stand out, that people are doing things differently than it had been for so long. And you're already seeing it. You're already seeing like schools being done differently. I mean, we have schools, and I think that in big cities that are a little bit more conservative, like think places in Texas and stuff, they're doing things where very untraditional, where school is like, hey, it's not even indoors. Like, we're going to go outside and learn hands-on. We have like a co-op school here that is like, it's called a farm school. And you literally go to the farm and you're like learning on the farm, hands-on with the animals, like learning about like herbs and gardening and all the things. And I'm like, that's where it's at, like teaching our children these life skills that is connecting them back to earth, connecting them with their community. And I think that we need more of it. So I'm like so curious with what you guys are planning to do with your kids, or maybe you don't know, but I'd love to know your thoughts on that.
We do.
I mean, I think we have a good place to start. I think that's also really important when you have children to be clued into what it is they need, and what each child is so unique, and cluing into like, okay, maybe that structure of a sit down in place, like learning is really what is going to benefit that kid, and that's what they're seeking, it's what they're asking for. You give it a try. Like for me, I'm open to trying whatever I feel is going to best set up my child for success. And I think that every parent and every family should do what kind of works for the rhythms of their family. But ideally, we would like to do more of a homeschool, Waldorf, like co-op outdoor program, just from what the research we've done, and kind of just understanding that children are inherently and intrinsically motivated when the items and the materials they're working with are exciting. And so you can teach math with just about anything. You can teach language with just about anything. So I don't think that the whole pen, paper, and sit down has to be the mode, but maybe a child, that's what they want and that's what they need. And I think we would be open to that. But our hope is that our kids want to be outdoors and have a more wild, per se, homeschool program.
Yeah, I mean, I see it like that. Like, I think the last couple of years was a big wake up for many people, that things, how they're set up right now, especially with the school system, it's not ideal. It's far from ideal. And we would like to actually, like what you mentioned, like the co-op, I think is a great way where you actually can find like-minded parents, where you can actually structure like what you want to teach your kids. And I think this is a great way where you can build great relationships and at the same time teach your kids. So I think we want to go down that route. Unfortunately, California is still one of the states that is very challenging to do this. So long term, I don't think we're going to stay in California. We will have to move to a state that is a little bit more family friendly in the end.
Yeah. And I mean, talk about kids in school. I mean, I vent to my husband all the time about this, because ours are in a private school down the road right now. And we homeschooled our oldest, well, actually our 2 oldest. And then the second one, speaking of what they want, we asked them, because we kind of pulled them out. Well, actually, I think they got pulled out, everybody, when COVID happened. Everyone was scrambling. Everybody was kind of out doing things at home. We never sent them back. I was like, I'm not going to send them back with everything that was going on. And so our oldest, we homeschooled. Our second one, after we did for a year, we asked him, do you want to go back, or do you like this? And he's like, I want to go back. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. We ended up finding a school close to where we live that is a private school, a Christian private school that does things a little bit differently. And I really liked how they do it, but it's still not 100% what I'm looking for. And I, like what I said, the farm school, that it would take like an hour and a half to get there, almost 2 hours to so like 4 hours in the car each day driving. I'm like, no. But I feel like we're going to see these pop up more and more and more, and I'm excited for it and I'm here for it. And it's hard. I feel like, and you guys know this and are really probably feeling this now with starting a business, that I'm always so curious. People that are parents with lots of children that are also entrepreneurs, it's like, gosh, like I tell my husband, like I want to be the full-time homeschool mom, but like God is also calling me to build this business. So it's like this crazy balance of like, and for a while you hear people talk about the guilt of like, when I'm working, I want to be with my kids. And then with my kids, I want to work. You know what I mean? And God's really given me peace about that over the last like year, obviously, because I told you guys, the audience doesn't know this and they will at some point, but like God called me to Well House. And it was very clear. And maybe that's why I have peace around it now, where when I'm doing something like this, I'm very, very much focused. And my intention is to be focused on what I'm doing with you all. And I know my kids are with my husband, they're taken care of, and I don't feel guilt. And there's some sort of peace that's covering that. But have you guys felt that when you're and you were pointing over at Clarissa, but have you felt that with like trying to figure out this balance of working and launching a business is a big like endeavor? I'm feeling it with Well House too. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, and you guys said in California, you don't have family there, or was it in Texas?
In Texas, we didn't. So part of the reason that we were like, if we're going to do this, we need to move back to California, because I think ideally we would probably be able to do all of this from Texas, but with our children, and in order to alleviate some of that guilt, I needed it to be family who was watching my kids. I needed it to be the women that watched me. Just something about knowing that my mom, my aunt, my great aunt, like these people were going to be the ones in my village mothering my children when I couldn't be there, is the only piece that I have, because I don't think I could do this if we were in Texas. With just someone, getting to know someone, building rapport, being able to feel comfortable when I wasn't in the room or in the house. I'm not a helicopter mom by any means, but it's just, that was what I needed to be able to have the focus and the drive when I am doing things for Untamed, or when I am doing things apart from my kids, that's like the center. That's the thing that keeps me knowing that this is gonna work. Because I do still very often feel like, Sascha, maybe you should just do it all. Like, like I'll just be your biggest cheerleader if you need extra help. But then we have conversations where it's like, no, like you are such a big part of what this is, that like I can't just step away because of my guilt. Like in many ways, like Untamed is like a part of who I am and my ethos and our family ethos, and like why we're doing this is for our kids in many ways. We have conversations with our toddler about like what it is, why we're doing it, what the lessons are in the different activities, how like we put like addresses on things and where does it go, and start to already teach them about how the world works through this vehicle of our business. And I think that's also brings me a little bit of peace, is I know that when they're watching me do something, it's not me just being on my phone just to be on my phone. I show them like, okay, we're on, mommy's checking the website, I'm going to do this, let's see if we need to go to the post office today. And we kind of go through and we are able to share in the journey together as a family, rather than me being outside of the home and running something or working for someone else. We get to really bring it back home and bring it into a space that we get to spend more time as a family. Because I think part of what also bothers me, not to go back, but with the school, is that we end up spending more hours apart as a family than we do together when we send our kids out of the home. And if they really need that, I will support my kids for whatever it is they need. But I would really like to think that during these formative years of their life, it's how to be a member in a small group. how to be able to work cohesively with us and be able to be there to coach them along the way and support them along the way when we see they're struggling with something. But we wouldn't be able to notice those things if all we're seeing is that every mom knows the bedtime routine of like, I need more water, I need this, I need that. And it's just a lot of chaos. When you get to go through the day with them, you get to support them through each moment. And then those evening routines become a lot easier, at least in our experience.
You made a really good point too that, and I can't say that I've ever thought of it, but it makes perfect sense. Like everyone thinks, and I've thought, and it makes me feel even more relieved, that, you know, the alternative would be having this 9-to-5 job, you know what I mean, where there is no flexibility. I feel like as entrepreneurs, at least we have a little bit of flexibility built in where, you know, we have the flexibility. And then the other part that I was going to say is that your kids, when you were talking about experiencing all of it with you, like being a part of doing orders and seeing what you're doing and going to the post office with you and being a part of it, not only because they get to do it with you, but also how inspiring that, like, as they grow, they're seeing what you're building. And I'm really excited because I feel like we're going to have some next level entrepreneurs of our own coming down the line. You know what I mean? Like all of my children, because they've seen what my husband and I have been doing over the last 10 years with our businesses, they're like, they have all these ideas of things they want to do. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love that too, that it's like sparking creativity for them. So I feel like we need to think and focus more on the positives of what we're doing as, you know, parents / entrepreneurs, you know what I mean? Versus like the things that are a pain sometimes, or things that we may be missing out sometimes on. Like, I feel like focusing on the positive, and you just named so many of them that I feel like we're worth repeating and saying, I think there's some really cool things that will come out of it for our kids. So I love that.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, Axel already told me last night that he is starting a business. It's outdoor business, and it's tomato spidey. So I don't know what that's going to be, but I will support it.
No, I love it. It sounds like he has his creative juices flowing. He's like, you know, trying to figure out where it's going to land. So that's awesome. Well, tell me a little bit. We haven't gotten into it yet. Tell me a little bit about what Untamed is, like what's in it, all of the good stuff. Because I feel like we talked a little bit about the story, but then we didn't talk about all the good stuff, like what's in it and why it's so good for you.
Yes. I feel like I've been talking a lot. Do you want me to go?
No,
Okay. So it is a colostrum egg yolk beverage mix. We added a green tea derived L-theanine. I'm someone who, when I drink my coffee, it's sometimes a little bit too much. I've got mom anxiety. I'm already my wake up with my cortisol going. So I need something that's going to take whatever caffeine beverage I have in the morning, if I choose to have one, to like balance that out. And the L-theanine is really beautiful amino acid that does that for us on a cognitive level. So we added that in there. The colostrum already has really amazing benefits. I mean, you must be living under a rock if you haven't heard about colostrum lately. It's been such a powerhouse for many people's health, their gut immunity, like being able to rebuild leaky gut, as well as the egg yolk, which just choline for brain development, fetal development. When you're pregnant, eating your eggs is so crucial because of that. It just has such an important building blocks for that baby's brain that you're building in their nervous system. And so together, we wanted to keep all of the fillers, sweeteners, flavors. There's no vanilla, there's no monk fruit, there's no stevia, there's nothing to make this taste like something else. It is just a creamy egg yolk beverage mix that you can add with whatever sweetener or no sweetener if you choose into your milk, smoothies, coffees, teas, sparkling water beverages in the summertime, matcha,
Yogurt bowls.
Sascha has every night with his wild nectar. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you hit it all.
Yeah.
Well, I tasted it, and I'm so grateful for you. You guys sent me another you know, thing of it, because I sent mine off, but like for photos. I not sent it off like I didn't want it. Sent it off. I didn't want to send it off, but I did, and you guys replaced it for me. So that was phenomenal. But I have it every morning, and I'm like obsessed. So it's become a part of my routine, and I like love it. And it's funny that I already knew kind of. Like, I don't know if you found that recipe, like the way that you put that together. Did you come up with how to put all of that together on your own?
or were you like looking at a recipe and you tried it during pregnancy and you're like, okay, I love it? Because I know that you said that that's kind of how it started, was the egg yolk and the maple syrup and doing that like in your drink in the morning. But were you, what, like, how did the colostrum enter the picture? How did you decide the other things were going to enter the picture?
I mean, for me, when we started it, I wanted collagen because I was adding collagen to my coffee. So as I was making the coffee during pregnancy, it was egg yolk, cane sugar, raw cane sugar, and my like milk that I would steam, and then the coffee. And I would do it in that fashion with a scoop of like collagen peptides. And Sasha was like, it's not dissolving good. Like he just didn't feel like collagen was the right move, that he wasn't. I mean, maybe you can speak on why you felt that way, but
Collagen is it's a supplement that is kind of like not working when you just like take small amounts. Basically, the minimum amount per serving, what you should take when it comes to collagen, is 10 grams. And if you can get that into like
one scoop.
into one scoop, like you only have so much space for like one serving. Nobody wants to have like a 20-30 gram serving. That's just not convenient to people, and unfortunately it's just like it has to fit, not unfortunately, but it has to fit like in people's lives. It has to be like somehow convenient that it can become a part of the routine. So for me, it was just the collagen. Maybe down the road we're gonna look into that, but for this product it just didn't make sense. It was because like the egg yolk, to have one egg yolk in there, you need like the 5 grams of egg yolk. So it's just like the serving size was getting too big. So we decided, okay, what is another really powerful food we can add? And colostrum is one of the like best like foods you like or like real foods you can actually add to your diet. Like it repairs like your gut. It helps with like skin. Like there's so many benefits to it, and yeah, that's basically the reason why we decided, okay, colostrum instead of a collagen.
And I think what I love so much about the product, what I was going to say a second ago, is that like I had already been familiar with having the egg yolk too. I did that during pregnancy in my coffee with the maple syrup and was doing it that way. And then I had been adding colostrum separately. So I honestly have been doing something very similar, which is why I think I'm naturally just obsessed with what you guys did, because it's all together in one. And I love it. Like I really, really do. And I'm grateful for you guys for coming up with it and making it for us all. But tell us a little bit about, and you guys know me, how much I care about traceability, knowing where things come from. You guys do too, as we talked about earlier on. Tell me a little bit about where everything comes from. I know that you guys are really passionate about keeping things close to home with where you're getting and sourcing your ingredients from.
Yep. So our green tea is derived, or the L-theanine is derived from green tea. We work with a small family in Georgia who has like a spices and supplement like sourcing company. And then our colostrum is a grass-fed bovine colostrum. Non-GMO feed. They do. I know you had asked us about like, oh, what is the finishing? And I was like, these are dairy cows. They're not going to be finished. I was like, I don't know their plan. And I was like, I started thinking about it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I didn't ask that. But then I thought about it after. I was like, oh wait a second, they don't get finished just yet, or that's not the end of their cow life here on Earth. But so that's their feed, supplemental feed there is non-GMO, pesticide free, and then they do traceability after to be able to test for any traces. Because even when farms and animals graze, there's other farms around, and they share water sometimes and other things. So while a farmer or someone might be doing their very best to ensure that it's pesticide free, we like to always do the extra double check of the tracing and the testing after to just ensure that someone else's water who came through, or someone else who sprayed, or someone who's spraying over aerial, like whatever potential there might be, that we're making sure that we're doing that double, triple check. So we also get our COAs, making sure that all of the things that we don't want in our product are not in our product in the end. And then I think the egg yolk, it's a free range egg yolk that we use. It's a powder, it's organic, and we're working right now. We're in the process of increasing the quality of our egg yolk. I know we've discussed this on the back end as we've gotten to know each other, but we're just not really happy. I know we're talking about this in 2025. Anyone in the early spring of 2025 will know that there was a huge bird flu that hit, and a lot of chickens were euthanized, and eggs were hard to find, and this became a huge issue for the market here in the States. And there's been a lot of opportunities to be able to purchase eggs from other countries or purchase eggs that maybe weren't at the quality in which we initially created our product. And we have been having a really hard time sourcing like a good quality egg yolk powder. So we are already now in the process of getting our freeze dryer, getting our licensing to go ahead and actually manufacture the ingredients ourselves and do a lot of that. So we will be doing the egg yolks in-house because right now it just doesn't seem like it's going to be a product that we trust the quality and the integrity of the suppliers.
Yeah, so we had a really good supplier, and our first two orders that was just a while ago now. I mean, it's
Last year.
November and December, and he just told me he can't get like the same quality product until at least like August, September. Like they have no availability, and it's just, to me it was like, okay, I didn't want to go like produce the egg yolk powder already in-house. I thought that more, I wanted to do that step at some point, but now I'm grateful actually this happened because it just showed me it's like it adds an extra layer of complexity to all of our product, but now we're 100% like gonna be able to make sure, okay, we have the quality we want. And it's a lot easier to find whole eggs and just actually turn them into egg yolk powder, or find quality whole eggs than it is egg yolk powder, because there's just like a lot of like processing done, and many companies are not freeze drying, that dehydrating, that actually reduces the nutritional value of the egg. So we just decided, okay, what is the best step we can do for our product? Maybe not for the company, it's going to be a lot harder to produce the product, but it's going to be for the customer. This is a great decision in the end, to increase the value of the product.
How many eggs? How many eggs would be like? How many egg yolks are like in a container?
Oh, wow. That's a math question.
How many egg yolks in one jar?
Yeah.
It's 28. It's 28 servings. One serving is one egg yolk.
Okay.
The math is basically one egg yolk, and we're talking about medium egg yolks, are between like 12 to 14 grams ish. And with the dehydration process is between, it loses on around 40%,
Water.
no, 60% of water. So you're left between like 5, 6, 7 grams of egg yolk powder. So every serving has one egg yolk in there.
And you guys are going to turn this in, you're going to do this in-house. Are you guys now thinking of, and I know that we're trying to make some connections happen. Are you guys going to try to do pasture, get them close to you and do them in-house right now?
Yeah.
So the goal is to end up having them locally from California as close as possible so we can get them, they're not going across the country, but trying to get them as close to us as possible. Organic, pasture raised, soy-free, corn-free feed, and hopefully that will mean low PUFA in the end for eggs, and just be able to have like the highest quality egg as possible. But then, sourced here in California, and then be able to produce the freeze dried. So it'll end up being a freeze dried egg yolk powder. Yeah.
Have you guys experimented with your freeze dryer yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
I know that you said you guys have gotten one or you're going to get one. So I was like, I wonder if they've played
Yeah.
Have you ever done it? Have you ever done freeze
Well,
drying?
I've also told him, I was like, I think we're also going to have to invest in doing it, the milling, the everything, so that we can get a really nice powder. Like, it's going to be, this is why this was on our list for like next year. But it has moved our timeline up, and we're answering the call and going for it. But yeah, it's going to be really fun to see like how it's going to work and how to navigate doing all of that. Because you take something from like its raw form, freeze dry it, and then it's, you have to like crumble it and figure out a way to like make sure you don't get it to like a nice dissolved powder. So
yeah, it's going to be a learning curve, but I mean, I don't think there's going to be any issues for us. Like we're figuring out like our problems, and
yeah, we like a good problem.
Well,
makes us proud.
That's all that entrepreneurship is like tackling the next problem every time that it comes your way, with integrity and grace, and just like going through it, just being like, all right, let's go. Next one, next up, over and over again. And I think the winning of the game of entrepreneurship is really just how many problems that you can solve over and over and over again, and how quickly you can solve them. So, I admire you guys for, it's the one thing that I really liked. It's why I wanted you guys to be a part of our box, is because I love the fact that you're like, here's where we're at, but here's where we're wanting to be at really soon. Like, here's the quality that we're trying to commit to and have for our customers. And it's something that I just love. Like, I mean, obviously you guys know this is not a surprise to you, but like, I do love it. And like, I was thinking about it when you were talking about the eggs and, your optimal. I feel like more consumers need to, and that's part of what I'm doing with Well House, need to be more educated in asking the right questions of where things are not only sourced from, but like there's these catchy words. And I was talking about this the other day on a podcast, but there's these catchy words, right? Of like pastured. And then all of a sudden, like the big companies catch on to what is pastured. People are seeking pastured now. So how can we like loophole this and figure out some ways to call it pastured? When in reality, these chickens are still like, they're on pasture and they're pastured, but like they have very little room to move, and then sometimes not even sunlight. They're like covered, have no access to like free range. That's why I say when I'm like doing the questionnaire, I'm like, is it pastured and free range, meaning they have free range, they're on pasture. It's like I have to like ask these things and like get really nitty gritty with it. And even things like a big problem right now, and I don't know if I'll come across someone that is really good. I don't know if you guys know of someone that's really good. A big problem is the supplemental feed that chickens get. Not just because of the soy, not just because of the corn, but also because they put these nasty oils and a lot of synthetics, and it's not what these animals are normally going to eat in the wild. They're not normally eating that way. And so all of this stuff people don't even think of. So my point is that there's all these layers of questions, and it seems like you need to be one step ahead as a consumer, because those big companies are going to catch on to what we're trying to do and say, okay, how can we word this? How can we phrase this to trick them into thinking that we have what they want? And and that's actually to my point of, let's stop doing that, buying at the grocery store, buy locally, so that way we know and can shake hands with the person whose animal it is and say, ask the right questions. It's why I feel so good buying from you guys, because you're like, no, we're knowing who we're buying this from. We're going to do it ourselves if that's what it takes, and we're going to know exactly where it's coming from. I feel like people are owed that. Like, they're eating and buying products from you, and I'm not speaking to you directly because you guys, right, but I feel like you know, as a consumer, I want to shake them and say, wake up, start asking the right questions, meet your local, farmers and whatever, so you know what you're eating. Because you're being manipulated when you go to the grocery store by 99.999% of the products there. So,
and I would say that's not, and the sad thing is if you choose one lane to ask the hard questions and to confront this reality, it should be your food. I mean, it's in every domain to some degree. I mean, when you're talking, I'm just thinking of like, I just had babies a year ago, and like the obstetric system, the medical system, like you think you're getting one thing and then you're actually presented something else when it's comes time. You're presented one thing and then something else comes. And it's just this constant bait and switch. And the system behind it's like turning and turning exactly like you said, like, let's give them what they want. They want this. And they put a fancy word there. And then it gives you peace to think that you're doing what's right. And then you didn't ask a follow-up question. And when you ask the follow-up question to that, then you get the truth or the real answer behind it. And then you can make an informed decision. And I think that's really what I hope, at least for our company and for others and other like-minded people, is just like, choose whatever you want. Have the freedom to do that if that's what you want. But you should be comfortable that you've had a fully informed decision beforehand. Like, you're fully informed before you make that choice. Like, if you don't want a pastured egg and that's like, I'm okay with this, at least you know the difference. And you're making that conscious choice and it's yours to make, rather than a company putting a label on it and telling you that it's this when it's not. And then you're paying a premium for something that you come to find out is not, in essence, what you signed up for.
I think the last, I would say, decades, the trust in institutions, it just has created like this, like, okay, people blindly trust like what they buy in the supermarket. This is what I meant earlier, which just like the agencies are captured, and it's just like people have like this blind trust and have no connection to actually or understand how their food is made. If people would see how their food is made in big with like big food and big supplement brands, like if they actually would see the process, most of them would not say, okay, this is what I want to eat. If they would know what is in there, they would not actually decide, okay, I'm going to buy this product.
No, I agree completely. And I feel like part of both of our missions is to educate, who our audience is on some of these things, so that way they can, like Clarissa said, be informed at least on it and then make that decision after they get the facts. So yeah, no, I'm in full agreement. I want to know, I was thinking about it, like, I don't know if you guys do this where someone's talking and you're like thinking of like, I have like 5 questions that I was thinking of as you're talking, Sascha, and I'm like, don't forget that one, and that one. But tell me a little bit about the hardest parts that you guys have had while building Untamed, like the things that almost where you're like, maybe you haven't had anything that you're like, we're throwing in the towel, like, or you almost did, or you're like, do we really do this? Like, the hardest things that you guys have encountered as you've been building.
That's a good question.
I mean, for me, it's the mothering.
The family balance.
The family balance for me is very hard. I don't want to speak for you, but maybe I could give you an idea. I think for you, the amount of freedom that you have now for the things that you used to do, like your meditation, your work, your gym time, like some of the things, like it's cut down. I think you have less time for yourself.
I mean,
you don't sleep anymore.
I'm a workaholic, so I always was, like, since I started working. Like, I don't have an issue with working at all, and just like if I believe in something and I believe in the cause. I mean, I'm getting up. I like getting up at 3-4 a.m. in the morning and just like put in the work. Like, I'm happy about it because I know why I do it. I do it for like my family. I do it just like to build a great product for consumers. And for me, that's I wouldn't say. I guess the most difficult part is just sometimes when the aspect of marketing, where it's just like, what your product is and what it does, but to get people to buy your product, you kind of have to say something or you have to do something. And it's like, this is one of the aspects I really don't like about the business overall, what you have to do to just like, I don't know, get awareness in some extent. So for me, that was kind of like the hardest part, just like learning all of this. Okay, it's just like the marketing aspect, I would say, because that was not a part like in my past.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for us, like, neither one of us has a huge social presence. Neither one of us is really great with like Instagram or like making things like super exciting or click worthy. And we're a completely unknown, like out of nowhere brand and company. And so to try and like build social proof and figure out how to make really aesthetically looking photos to stop people while scrolling. And it really is just the two of us. And we have one person who helps us with some of our social media, but it's three people who are not like in the field or have a marketing degree or have any understanding of really all the nuts and bolts and like all the tricks to the trade, if you want to say. So that's probably been one of our hardest is like how to build social proof without, we don't have a huge bucket of money behind us to say like, okay, we'll just throw like $10,000 on a marketing campaign and we'll make this and we'll do that. Everything we're doing is in-house. It's us trying to come up with a new creative angle, Sascha creating digitals, me trying to figure out a new way to use wild nectar in a fun recipe. Like it's all just us trying to figure out new ways to find an audience that might connect with it and finding a way to do that in a digital space, which is not either one of our strong suits. So.
I guess to really like, I guess the conclusion is like the hardest part is like to actually show someone your product and make them like, oh, this is something I could like, I would like through like just like a phone. Like if I get to show someone just my product, let's say in a gym or in a farmer's market, it would be so much easier because like there's just like people see like with their own eyes, okay, like they put their love in this, like this, they can taste it, they can feel it. It's a very different thing. I guess both of us, we never been in the last like 15 years not interested in social media. It's just like it's not a game we played. It's not like something we would be like. I mean, we have no followings. Like we just didn't care. Like it's something we completely neglected in the end, for like in the business aspect, because it's a great thing to have in business. But yeah, I guess like figuring that part out is probably the toughest part for us.
But I think that's what made our connection with you so exciting and so interesting, and like the values and the mission that you're trying to bring to people is like, hey, I did all of the hard work, not I, you did all of the hard work, Michelle, to like curate these boxes, to say like, these are people that I've spoken to. This is a product that I've personally tried. This is something that I think you should at least give it a try. Here's a full jar in your box. Try it for your family. If you love it, here you go. And like connecting people, connecting families, connecting these small businesses that are really just kind of like us, like figuring this out and doing it for their small communities and trying to get, a little bit more social presence, trying to be able to get in front of an audience of people who would be interested, like-minded people, and kind of having Well House as this like connective glue to all of us, that we can go ahead and go into these like little microcosm communities of people and say like, hey, and I'm sure like down the road it'll be nice because all of us will be like, oh, I just found this amazing product at a farmer's market. I need to connect you with Michelle. She's going to be able to like talk to you and be able to say like, yeah, this might be something that people have been asking for, because I'm sure you're going to have feedback from people like, we want more of this or we want more of that. And you'll be able to have all of this information from your customers and from the subscribers to these boxes that are like, we want more skincare, we want more food, we want more kid snacks, whatever it might be. And then to be in a position where you're talking to families who are doing this all across the country, who know other families who are doing this, because it seems that we all start to gravitate towards each other, and be able to be like, hey, like there's a lot of us out here doing it and we just don't have the awareness or that kind of like Coca-Cola money behind us to be on like the Super Bowl ad for everyone to see.
Well, and that's what I'm drawn to. I think that's what I started to, on my own journey. I've had this evolution like we all have, where, 2020 really like shattered my paradigm on a lot of things. I think a lot of people had the same experience. And I realized what I said earlier. I think I'm being redundant, but like we're so disconnected in society with our neighbors and with our farmers and with our land and with our kids and, with everything that's supposed to be right, I feel like is being pulled from us, but in this very manipulative way. you know, like, oh, it's okay to be on, you know, TV or on your phone and ignoring your family and your kids, or they don't come out and say that. But what they do is they manipulate through this subconscious programming of like making so many things more like really interesting and having that dopamine just going off nonstop where you like you feel like you can't put it down. My son won he went to an arcade and won like, you know, those VR headsets,
Oh gosh.
which I swore was never going to enter my house. And he's been on it, and he's been really cranky recently. And my husband and I were like, we didn't take that out. We didn't take it at night because normally we take electronics at night, so we can't like sneak and like be on it all night. And he's been really cranky. And I said, I bet he's been like taking that and using it at night. And I said, I'm going to gift it to someone else, even though I feel terrible gifting it to anybody else too. I'm like, don't let your kids use it, but here. Because I'm so like opposed to this like disconnectedness. And I feel like it's really time to shift. And whether you're on board or not, I hope that I can convince you and pull you in. And I'm obviously not talking to you guys, but the rest of the world, I hope I can, you know, pull you into this and show you that this is a much better way. You feel way more alive. You feel you can feel way more creative. Like it's what we're meant to do. It's how we're supposed to live. And I find that it's worth fighting for. I feel like we're at that place where if I'm not fighting for it and having a band, and I can't do it by myself, which is the whole idea of Well House. I was like, I need these brands to be on board. I need these consumers to be on board. I need all these people to be on board. Otherwise it can't happen. But I know that there's other people out there that feel this way that it's gonna light them up saying, I do. And it is important. So let's go. I mean, I feel like we all have so many, like we have this shared mission, but we're all trying to do things separately in this disconnected world. And I'm like, let's stop doing that. If we're on this mission, let's be on it together. And it doesn't mean that you can't creatively have your business and do it. And it doesn't mean, you know, we can all do things together. And that's what God is intending. I think he intended for us to do is have these creative outlets, do these different things together, but build on this one mission of community and love and support in that community and being close and eating from the earth. And I think that those are just things, the basic things that people they're losing. And the idea of a chip in my brain, I'm like, no, thank you. I don't know what person would want a chip in their brain and like be in an AI land, like while all of the big, you know, powers that be are like buying up all the land in the real world. I'm like, no way, Jose. Like, I want to support people and brands that I love, that I am in alignment with. I want you to be so uberly successful that you're like buying land left and right to just have more chickens in your products and have products. And
That's our goal.
That's my dream. Like, I'm like, I want people succeeding. And for me, that's everything that this is like, I want people that are high integrity people to succeed. Like for me, it's like the dark light. And I'm like, God told me you're going all in on this. And I'm like, well, you don't need to tell me, God, I'm going all in on the light, but like, yeah, I'm going all in. And like, come on, guys, like, let's go. We gotta focus on this together because otherwise, you know, it's not going to happen. So,
I think over the last, since the Industrial Revolution, it's just like small business has become like smaller and smaller. Like there's less and less. Like it's just like every financial crisis or the COVID was also a big problem for small business. The tariffs right now are a problem for small business. And every time what happens is just big corporations just eating a little bit more of the pie and just end up with like, you tell me, like, does that make any sense? There are like 4 or 5 big food companies who have like basically like 80% or 85% of the whole market. Everything what you buy in the store, they sell. Like if there is no collusion and there's no like, okay, they're talking behind scenes like, okay, how can we together keep the prices low? They don't care about the consumer. They don't care about our health. Like it's just like they're caring about their profits. Like you become that big and it's just like so monopolized. You just end up with like huge problems for society. And this is like basically what we're like, the problems were like one of the big problems we're in currently, and why there's like, we need to support small businesses and our community, not only ourselves, also just as you said, like our neighbor. It's like our just like the other business. Like we want other small businesses to succeed at the same time. It's definitely one of our we're starting to build several like relationships with other brands and other businesses, and it's just like I love to just like collaborate and just like help the other brands and just like find something how we can actually be successful together. It's a great way of just like growing and yeah, helping each other, helping the community.
Well, if they're gonna get together, we can all get together, and then it'll be like little guys versus the big guys. But in the end, I think there's a lot more smaller companies who want to do the right thing and who just want to know that they're not the only ones out there in their communities fighting for this. Because it can get exhausting and it can feel isolating, especially if you're a small company in a small town, just servicing the people around you and not be feeling like you're ever able to like break that scale, you know, like you're trying to scale, but then you just can't break it, and then you just stay here. It can feel really isolating if you're not really having other brands and other small businesses to like reach out to and talk to. I think there's a misconception too that like companies and brands are in competition always. I think sure they might have similar products, they might have similar ways of going about doing things, but at the end of the day, I don't believe it's like a zero-sum game. Maybe that's my own naivete, but I just think that there's plenty for all of us, and I think that when we work together, that is where real magic happens, rather than thinking that if you have all of these proprietary secrets and your product is like the only one on the market and I'm the only brand who can make this, then you know, you're going to be alone and you're going to feel isolated, and it's going to feel like an uphill battle, and it's going to feel like Sisyphus. And I think for a lot of us that having community with other brands is so crucial to making that magic happen. So I'm really, really excited for what Well House is going to like end up growing into, because I feel like around the country, we're going to have these little pop-ups and meetups of like brands that are in this area meeting up together. We've been in the boxes before and hanging out and being able to like talk and get together and just see what beauty comes from like-minded individuals coming together and having the same value system, which I think always brings about something positive.
You're speaking my love language, obviously, with the collaboration thing, you know, and for me, I used to feel this way. So I know how people feel when you feel like you have something good and you want to kind of gatekeep information. I've been through that phase of my life many, many years ago with business, of keeping business secrets of how I did said thing to grow. And I am way, way beyond that now. And I feel like it's such a travesty when people feel the need to hide things and like hold on to things themselves and not share it with the world. And it puts you in this state of fear and all of these negative emotions, like jealousy. Like it literally holds you in this ball of all these negative emotions. And for me, I recognized that within myself, even though it never got to be really big, but I just didn't like the feelings that I had when I was living in that. And I was like, I'm not doing this. Like for me, I would much rather just be so free with my information and my knowledge and how I help and serve the world. And God knows that. Like, and when he knows that and he puts you in your calling of what you're meant to do, knowing that you're not going to be that person that lives in that little negative ball, he's going to take you so much farther with his calling on your life. And so for me, I was like, God, I'm relinquishing all of this negative stuff that I was holding on to, that was literally Satan just like wanting to attack like a calling on my life. And I'm going all in. I'll share whatever I need to. Like I want to collaborate with all the people I can collaborate and elevate them and showcase them. And the crazy thing about all of it is the more that you do that, you're rising together. You know what I mean? So you get what you want in the end anyways. And it feels like, you know, this really unique / backward thing that like you get what you want all along. So just let go of it. I don't get people who hold on to things. I have, you know, there's this one brand that is on the internet. I'm not going to say their name, but they're an exceptional, I believe that what they do is exceptional with their product as far as their ingredients and stuff. But when asked like, hey, what do you put in your product? They're like, no, it's proprietary and we don't share it. But here's the thing. I know based on what I've seen from them over so many years on Instagram, how they believe things, that like their ethos, and I know that their product is exceptional, and they say it doesn't include this is, we're making this amazing thing, and I'm like, it's basically a product that other farmers and other people could benefit from. I'm not going to say what it is because I might give it away who it is, but like, and I don't want to trash anybody. But they could easily share that. I'm like, why not? I even posted on their thing, like, why not share that that recipe with people so that way other farmers can benefit, and when they benefit, like the chicken or the animals benefit, and the consumers benefit, like across the board, everyone benefits. Why not? And of course, there was no response. But, you know, I feel like holding on to information is actually really causing a disservice to humanity because, like I said, there's a carryover in that instance of it's going to affect farmers who want that recipe and know how can I utilize this within my farm. And it's going to affect people that buy from that farmer and the humans that eat it. So I'm like, I don't get it. And I so appreciate people that get it, that get, you know, that this transparency is just so important and not holding on to information as if like, you know something that someone else doesn't. It's not, I mean, you know what I mean? Like we can all figure things out. So
yeah, definitely. And I think too, it's like when you're of service to others, it's not without you getting something. You feel good when you help someone out, when you see someone else smile, when you share something that changes someone's life for the better or puts them on a different path or health journey or whatever it might be with whatever information or product or recipe you're sharing. Like that's the thing that you get to relish in, is the fact that you got to bring some joy, some light, some positivity in some way. And I think that when we are in service to others, we're actually becoming our best self. So to hold something back because you think you're actually like stopping how good you could really feel. Like it's like you could feel even better. You could have a bigger impact, and like you're really maxing yourself out when you kind of have the Willy Wonka doors shut. It's like that. I don't know. I feel like I'm a very open door policy type person, and
I think there's a big movement starting to happen. What I see, especially on just like big operators of companies, like who just they don't try to keep secrets anymore. They're just like, okay, this is how we do things. Like, if you can do it better, do it better. Like, it's just like super successful companies and operators, and they just like, if you believe in yourself and your product, you don't have a problem to share that and someone to copy it, because the truth is, someone can copy your product, but they cannot copy your brand. Like, they cannot copy what you really stand for, like what you believe in. And for us, it's like, I mean, our blend is as obvious as it gets. Like, we're not trying to hide anything. Oh, this is a special product. We're transparent. What is in there, what is not in there, what we're trying to keep out. And I think transparency will win in the end when it comes to, like, especially many consumers are waking up to the fact that big corporations and big supplement brands are not transparent. And I think over the next couple of years, like, it's just many people are waking up to that fact and starting to make the right choice.
well, it's not just the product. Like I'm sitting here thinking as you're talking, I'm like, yes, you have a great product, but if someone came along, like if Pepsi came along and created a colostrum, L-theanine, and egg yolk product tomorrow, I'm like, it's a no-brainer to me as to who I'm going to continue buying from, because I know the people behind it, and I know how honest they are, and I know that they live in integrity, and I know that they care if they have to, and I've already seen it with you guys, that you're willing to take a cut yourself in order to give to others. You know what I mean? Like, those are just the people that you are. So for me, I'm just like, people need to start thinking about, hey, don't care about just the product. Think about what's really behind it. And I am talking about ingredients, of course, but I'm talking beyond ingredients. And really for me, that's what this is all about. So yeah, I was thinking a minute ago, because like so many of these companies are building, we'll use Siete, they're so big, you know, I'm like, they built and then they sold out. So let's say Untamed builds up and gets offered $1 what then?
well, Sasha's a workaholic, so I don't think he'd be able to let go of the company, because then what would he do?
Yeah, for me, it was, I mean, I had that thought many times. At what point would I sell the company? Would I sell the company? And for me, it was just like, I don't think I can let go. It's like I mean, it's basically our first company we're starting to build, and I think I would rather just keep the company and like what's the right word? Just like be a little bit less involved and have people take over, but still be like on the board or just like have like some oversight of how things are going. But for me, it's just I don't. It's our baby, so I wouldn't say like we would sell out at some point. Like
I
yeah.
feel like I put people on the spot when I ask this question because then like they feel like I have to say I'm never going to sell out because, you know, it's going to look bad.
No.
I'm going to be the sellout. And I
Yeah.
don't think I have a problem with people selling out. I think that what we really need to focus on, I told Josh, I said, my goal is to have Well House be so big that when any of my brands want to sell out, I'm like, I'll buy it because I don't want you selling it to Pepsi.
I think for just knowing Sascha, I think he would take an offer as a challenge to scale. He's like, "Oh, you think you could do that with my company? Like how can I do the same thing?" Because that's just who he is. That's just how his brain works. When I say a workaholic, I mean it in like the most compassionate way. Like when he loves something, like he said before, he will wake up at 3 a.m. He is a hands-on dad. He's with the kids like all during the day when I have my other day job. Like, so like when he's passionate, he'll find a way. And if he sees someone else looking in like, "Oh, you have something like really good, I want to pay you out," he wouldn't be like, "Oh yes, finally I can sit on the couch." Like for him, he'd be like, "What are we going to build next?" Like the only way Sascha would sell is if he had another idea that he didn't have enough time for. So I think for him, it'd be like, well, now I have this other thing going, but I don't have enough time for it. Like, how can I find a way to like segue to that?
I think, yeah, I mean, you made a good point. Like the only real reason, like for me, or like what would get me to the point to sell would be if I just have like a better idea that has a better impact, a better product, what needs just more time. Like that would be a reason for me where it's just like, okay, like maybe it's time to let go and start bigger things. Like I feel like we're so far away from that. So like I'm usually cross that bridge when we get there. So for me, it's just like at the moment, how can we improve our product? How can we like just give it like as many people in their hands and let them try it, see it, like let them have the benefits. So it's not something I'm concerning myself right now.
I think if that was to happen, we've got year, maybe decade before that's even an option.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have when you do.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you guys go right now? Do you share Untamed at farmers markets and at local shops and things like that?
No.
We have not been capable. Like just like it's.
We are stretched so thin.
Yeah.
To do that would mean to either hire someone or to find an extra day in the week, but we were only given 7. So
Yeah, it's just like slowly but surely things are getting a little bit easier. But as you know, it's just like one of the toughest times is obviously like the first, I guess, 12 months. And then like year after year, it gets easier. And yeah, for me, it's just I'd rather like we spend a lot of time on the business, and Sundays and Saturdays are family days at the moment. Like we need some time for family, and like even like now also like taking like a farmer's market or just like adding another day. At the moment, it's just I wouldn't want it. Yeah. But
Yeah.
we have it planned to have like some kind of like pop-ups and start that probably in the next like 6 to 12 months. That's our plan. But at the moment, it's like we just don't have the time, unfortunately.
What's the next
Yeah.
step in building? So like with what you guys are doing, like I guess I'm trying to connect the dots between that and like you're like, well, we can't because that would mean, I guess growing, right? Because you get out there more. You like, so what's the next step? What's preventing you, and what is it that you need to get from where you are now to where you feel comfortable with that?
More time.
More time. I think for us, it's a matter. So I guess we didn't really talk about the fact that I still work. So I went to school. I became a pediatric occupational therapist. So I still kind of carry a day job 4 days a week, treating kids in the school setting. So, and I do this virtually for a virtual academy. So I still have that. So I think once we get the business to being able to produce X amount of revenue and be able to kind of pull back a little bit from my day job and be able to be 100% under Untamed, I think, and that being like a fiscally responsible thing to do for the company. Right now, we're not taking anything from the company. So I have to kind of help us find a way to like not make Untamed less liquid. We want to keep as much money in the company as possible. So pretty much we need to get there.
Yeah, I think the right answer is just improving our systems, becoming better at what we do. We're in now 2.5 months since we launched. And I feel like we learned so much. Like, it's unbelievable the learning curve we had in every aspect, from product development to marketing to operational. It's just, yeah. So I just like thinking about, okay, the jump we had right now, where we're going to be like 6 months or 12 months, it's exciting to me. It's just like, it's daily work we have to put in. But yeah, like I'm excited for what is to come. And yeah, at the moment, it's just important that we improve our systems. And the next step is, okay, we want to produce a better, even a better product with having the egg yolk made in-house. And that's basically the next important step, what we are like tackling. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, like from a like R&D perspective, we're already like, I think we have one really great, awesome product that I would stand behind like forever, because it is something that came from such a special time in my life. But I think for us, egg yolk isn't for everyone. I know, like, for some of the feedback that we've gotten, it's like, oh, the egg, you know, we're like, we'll notice that like people, even in our family, as we've been showing it, it's like, oh, I just wanted the other two. Like, you know, the egg can be off-putting for some. Some people don't like it. Some people are allergic. So our product isn't one of those that like everyone is willing to try 100% of the time, all the time. You know, like
if you give it to them even for free.
Yeah.
Like some people would even say like egg.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I
It's unfortunate, but
That
yeah.
has to be an educational thing. Like there has to be unique and creative ways around that and educating the consumer. I get it, because the first time that I heard, you know, however many years ago at this point, of putting a raw egg yolk in my coffee, I was like, what? You know, but I'm like so open, like I'm so wide open that like, even though I was like, huh, that's interesting, really? Is that I was like, I'll try it, you know, like what's the worst that could happen? I get sick, you know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So like I tried it and then I did it and I was like, okay, this is great. And then realizing too that like, yeah, you might, if you're getting your eggs and doing that with like traditional nasty eggs from the grocery store, sure. You know what I mean? But if you're getting good quality pastured eggs from your local farmer that you vet appropriately and properly, then it's fine. It's great. And I will also say, just from a health perspective, as a health practitioner, that people go through seasons too, like with their bodies. So there might be times of a season in your life where, for whatever reason, like you're staying clear of something like dairy, because I think people like to like use blanket statements on things like dairy's bad. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't like this blanket statement thing on very simple God-made foods. Like I don't agree with it on either end.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like you have to have it every day and it's the best thing on the entire planet no matter what. And I don't think it's like evil and you shouldn't have it. I think it depends on the person and their season, where they're at, their environment. Like there's too many variables, and that's what I don't like about the blanket statements. Even if we introduce studies, which you can find a study that says raw milk was horrible, you can find one that says it's absolutely wonderful. You know what I mean? So like, stop with the blanket statements and just recognize that we're all unique. I mean, we're all humans, so we're similar in a lot of ways, but we're all unique and so many different variables, from how we were born to the foods that we had all growing up, to the environment that we lived in all growing up. And all of those things, which are thousands of variables, is different. And that's going to affect what you can have at this given moment in this season of your life. Yeah.
And as we age, we have different protein, calorie, all these different needs, different vitamin, mineral needs. Any woman who's nursing knows, like, the minerals and vitamins are so necessary during that postpartum season and nursing season, and just different types of things. Men need different protein and calorie intake. It's like we all are unique.
So complex. Yeah. It's like, I'm the best example. So for 10 years, I basically did low carb, carnivore, just like eating very little carbs, and daily intermittent fasting for like 16 to 20 hours. And it served me great until like 1 or 2 years ago, where it's just like things are not like, I should feel better for all the things I'm doing, how well I'm eating, I'm exercising, and something is not right. And it's just like, I started to think, okay, this is me getting old. Like something is not right. And I just like, okay, maybe I'm a little bit stuck in my diet. Maybe something changed. And 2 months ago, I switched to a honey diet. Okay.
To a what?
I went from a honey diet.
Oh, a honey diet.
Honey diet, yes. So I call it a sugar fast. So now I basically, I don't do an intermittent fast anymore. I do basically a sugar fast where I eat fruit and honey until 12 p.m., 3 p.m.-ish. Then I have like a big standard meal and maybe a dinner. And my energy levels are unbelievable. Like I have so much more energy. My testosterone, my hormone levels, my thyroid got better. I lost 6 pounds doing this. I just can't believe it. Like I lost 6 pounds on that diet in 2 months. Like it's just like I was so stuck in like, okay, carbs are bad, but like my body was so deprived of actually carbs that it's just like that diet just didn't work for me anymore. So I switched to something completely different, and now it works again. So it's just like, as you said, like different stages in life, different bodies, like we're all unique. Like something that's working for this person might not work for this person. So it's...
I think our bodies too also thrive on novelty and change. And when we get stuck in a certain pattern, your body starts to get used to that. And it could, because of the fasting that you did, like you said, it was depleted of, it was like holding on, like for that. It was always winter for Sascha. It was always winter. So when he let go of that, I think his body was able to let go of what it was holding on to and be a little bit more open to letting calories come and go.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting that you said his body thought it was always winter, because what I was going to say is that people, that whole like intuitive thing is not just being intuitive with yourself. It's also being, I call it intuitive, more aware, I guess, of external factors in your environment too, because that traditionally, like now, again, we don't, because we're shipping in and importing things from, tropical fruits and eating it in winter. You know what I mean? So there's all these different things that signal wise we're confusing our body with. But like here, it's been starting to get warm. You know what I mean? So now, yeah, naturally, I feel like some of the carbs and the fruits are going to be more abundant. So it would be in my environment natural, and in Hawaii, they have it all the time. You know what I mean? Like, but their environment is also the sunshine and the land and the air and everything, the microbiome within the soil, everything is signaling to their body, like, this is what you have. This is what's appropriate for you. And I feel like I wish people understood that, so they didn't like shame people for whatever diet they're on, however they eat, however they choose to live their life. There's just too many variables to put into play. And like, I feel like if you feel great doing what you're doing right now, amazing, I'm all for it. And also know, and I'm sure that you do, that could change next month. You know what I mean? And you'll know, because you know your body.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm in tune with this. How are we going to switch this around and make some tweaks? And I feel like, I think I want more people to get to that place where they're like not afraid to try something. They're like, I feel like my body needs more of this. I'm going to try this. You know what I mean? And who am I to say, if you're like, hey, I feel this way right now, I feel like I need this, to say, that's terrible for you. Don't do that. If anything, I feel like it confuses people. Like, you have people that are like not like us, that like to read and nerd out on articles and like research and like try things ourselves and experiment. You have people that will just hear something on the internet. Like, you know, I have family members that when I say, hey, I think you should do this, they're like, oh, I heard that was really bad. And I'm like, okay, well, don't do it then. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, but the fact that they're being so, they take things at face value of like, I heard this once and it is the gospel now, is not how we should be living our lives.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. Well, what's up? We went off the path a little bit, but what's up next with Untamed? And are you guys ever in the future? I feel like I'm throwing this question on you, and I'm like, don't throw this on them because now they're going to start thinking about it. Is there going to be other products? Are you guys? This one's going to grow, and you're going to scale this. So let's get that, out in the air because I don't
We're
want
already
you.
working on something.
I already have a
Don't for us,
recipe.
Michelle, to start something. We just started this.
No, I already have a recipe, and I have already been working on something. I'm very, very excited. So pretty much, I feel like for me, I just want to create products that I want in my kitchen and on my counter. So I get really nerdy and excited about it. But it will be a complement to our AM beverage time. So it's going to be a PM type
Oh, I
beverage.
love that.
So, and I'm really, really excited because I already asked Sascha if I could have a little bit of the funds to start buying and R&Ding and trying and testing. And he said after this week I could. So I'm very excited because I already nerded out and I have like all my ratios and I've calculated everything. And now it's just tasting and having a couple of trusted family members try it and see how they like it. But yes, it will be a little PM beverage mix.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
We're very excited for that.
Yeah. I hope I get to taste test at some point. I'll
Yes.
be a guinea
You
pig.
were one of the first.
Yes.
You will be one of the first.
I know. It's like Sascha told me when we first started the company, I had already had multiple ideas of other products. And he said, honey, I think we need to just focus on one and do one really right. That's what all my research has shown. We just have to focus on. I was like, okay, well, I can still be I'm the dream board. Okay. You figure it out and you tell me when I can go. But I've got, I will be back here doing all of the R&D and the dreaming and the concocting of the recipes and things. But
Yeah, we're planning we launched Wild Nectar in February, and now we're starting the R&D and research. I mean, it's gonna take at least half a year. So we're planning probably early next year, maybe late in the year. I don't know. It's kind of
it depends if what I think is going to work out really well, if it works out really well or not. I mean, that's the fun of R&D.
we'll
You can have great ideas and try it, and it may take a few iterations before it gets to a place where we feel confident to put this in a jar and a label and a name and put it out in front of people. So
Yeah, it's gonna be very different though.
yeah,
It'll
it's
be
definitely very
something
different.
completely.
It's not something that
different
is out there right now. Like it's not like a popular thing.
I would say that it's kind of combining things that are out there individually.
Okay.
So, you could probably, well, no, there's too many things in there. There's not one thing that I would say oh, that's exactly what it is.
You mean other products?
Yeah, she's asking, is there another product? It's not an electrolyte drink. There's a lot of different electrolyte drinks. It has a bit of that nutritional value, I would say. That's kind of in there, but that's not how you would market it or how you would see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a PM drink that mostly for sleep and
It's a sleep, skin, beauty, all the things, it's all the things that you would want in
before
one.
you go to bed. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just to wake up actually refreshed and
Rested, without the groggy. Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I know that I'm the same way, that I'm like this it feels like every hour on the hour I'm telling my husband, oh my gosh, I have this idea and we're going to do this and this and this. And he's just like, focus. And I'm like, okay, babe,
don't get out of there.
way to be my butt pill here. I have all these awesome ideas. I expect him to jump on and be like, absolutely, this sounds amazing. And he's he keeps me grounded. which I appreciate. I mean, in the moment, I'm like, you don't care about my ideas. I have all these amazing ideas. And he's like, no, I love them, but like tuck them away in your little, wherever you want to tuck them, and pull them out at the right time. Because he's like,
Exactly
Sascha.
what it's
I get told to write it down. Write it down.
I
Write it
know,
down.
at some point you're gonna like you won't remember, like, but if you write it down, like at some
It's just
point
too
you will.
exciting to write down. I just want it out. Just want to like, and then I want you to take it and run with it.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, where can people find you? I want everyone to know where to find Untamed. And real quick before you say that, because I had this question and many times and I didn't get to ask it. Did you do your branding, or did you have someone do it for you? So
Pretty
I
much.
like, yeah. I mean,
So-
I'm so impressed. Like, you guys were talking about how it was only you guys doing like the social and all of that, and like, I'm telling you from someone who, before I knew you and reached out, I was like, man, like they're so squared away and put together. Everything looks so nice. And like, so as an outsider, I was like, it's perspective, right? I could have sat there and thought like they had this amazing team that's doing all these things and making it look so pretty. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job doing all of this.
That means a lot.
I tell him, but I think when it comes from me and when it comes from like my friends who tell me, tell Sascha, it's like it just doesn't hit the same way because we have such nice, gracious, loving friends that he's just like, yeah, thank you. But he really took this on. He learned a skill. He was like learning to code on his own to figure out how to get everything just right. And he would be in these chat rooms asking questions. How can I get this? And this is what I mean when I say that when he's passionate about something, he can like teach himself and like figure it out. And it's really just like, I think with this branding, he really found like a little mini calling. I feel like he's really good at it.
It's something I'm really like interested in for a long time, like design and fashion and just like taste, I guess in that sense. For years, like it's one of my passions. Just like create. Like I actually thought like I was never creative until I just found like the thing I'm creative at. So it's just like the outlet, yes. So for me, that's branding and just I absolutely love it, and like I'm excited for the future, just to when we get to a point where I have a little bit of like, there's some things I can just. There are always parts in the business where you have to do them, but you don't want to do them, and I can't wait to just like get that done like off my plate and just focus actually on the things I love. What I think like what I enjoy and what bring me the most joy and what I'm good at, and that's just like website design, branding, marketing design. Like it's just it's a lot of fun for me. So
you're gonna be taking on submissions and applications for everybody that needs their branding or websites done.
This is what I said. I said, you have a side hustle. I've been telling him, I said, I think this is something you could really do. I said, there's a lot of small community businesses out here who could use a really great, like, little, like, vamp, you know, like just a little facelift of their web presence, their SEO.
I mean,
like,
my first project is coming up. A friend of us, she has a tallow brand. It's called Untammed, and she asked,
I got
hey,
connected with them.
yes,
oh,
awesome,
okay.
yeah. I saw you guys follow each other.
You
I
guys
wasn't
knew
sure.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like they're great friends of us. Like we know them for
Longer than I've known. You've known them even
Yeah.
longer. Yeah, 20 years.
Oh wow.
very very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she asked me like she saw my website and she asked me months ago.
I said, who did your website?
And she was like, "Oh, can you like help me out, please?" And I was like, there was just no time. Like we were right in the launch, and I said, "Please give me a few months, and I'm gonna get to it. And I'm gonna start next month with helping out her and getting her website, helping her a little with ads, and yeah, so."
But this is what makes me, like, my heart just so full. Like, it's seeing that she's doing something great. She is so passionate about it. There's an area that maybe she's not as skilled, that Sascha loves to do, that brings him joy, that lights him up, that sets him on fire, and then connecting them to be able to do that together and both be able to focus on the things that make them happy and bring joy and just bring the spark that is inside of all of us. Like, I'm just like, go, come on, we can do it.
I'm like,
And he's just so like,
Yeah, I mean, I was just not there yet.
I know.
Like, it was just too much. But.
I know, but I think you also need just more people to just remind you that like it is really good, babe.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It is. I'm
Thank you.
I'm
Means a
I'm
lot.
very impressed, and I'll say too, like, it's really I get torn because I'll find really great brands with a really great product, but their packaging and their brand and their design is like not that great, and I'm like, oh man, and I almost want to. I told Josh, like, this is one of my many ideas. I was like, I need someone that I could like connect them with to be like, I want to accept you and I want you to be a part of Well House, but let's like you said, let's give you a facelift. You know, I think that you'll make more sales. Like, let's go ahead and like do a redo here, you know, help you out. And I am not gifted like that. I feel like I see ideas in my head that I can't properly put down on, you know, whatever, on the computer or on paper or whatever. But you're very gifted at it, and I'm impressed.
Thank you.
So yeah, well, okay, good. Well, okay, go back. Sorry, that took me off on another rabbit hole. But tell me where everyone can find you guys. Instagram. I don't know if you're on other platforms. So
Yes and no. We have an Instagram. We have a TikTok, which we kind of forget to post on very often. We have our website, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, say what it is.
It's the Instagram is at Get Untamed, and then our website is untamed.co, C-O, not com.
And 2M.
And 2 M's.
perfect.
Yeah.
And
I've never had to plug our where to find us. Can you tell?
and if you get a Well House box in the summer, then you will be getting their product in the box. So that's exciting. And by the time that this airs, it'll all already be news. So that's super exciting that people are going to be enjoying your product all over. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. Guys, thanks for coming on today. Thanks for chatting with me. This was so fun. And I'm glad that people got to learn about you and your amazing product. And just, you guys are awesome people. And I appreciate you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Likewise.
All right.
Thank you, Michelle.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.